All right. Hi, everyone. This is the Guatemala Digital Storytelling Teacher Training webinar, and my name is Alethea Paradis. I am a lawyer turned history teacher turned founder of Peaceworks, and with me is Michael Hernandez, who's an Apple Distinguished Educator and a PBS Award winner and cinema and journalism instructor. And we are going to tell you about this opportunity for summer 2017. An opportunity to learn digital storytelling skills in Guatemala with us July 7th through the 15th.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and start our presentation here. Okay. And Alethea, why don't you go ahead and start?
Okay, great. So this is the basics. And wait, can you control the advancement, or is it me?
I can.
Okay. Well, as I said, this is the Guatemala Digital Storytelling Teacher Training webinar, and our purpose with travel is to connect with radical empathy. This quote from Mark Twain essentially says what we're about. We are endeavoring to teach children that travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and we do this through experiential learning, connecting with local nonprofits that are supporting a community in a sustainable way. Peaceworks operates in Cambodia, Cuba, Vietnam, Guatemala, Myanmar, Rwanda, Laos, and Guatemala is a really exciting destination because we are very connected to social entrepreneurship projects that are benefiting the community. So the goal is for students to become informed, invested citizens of a global community, and to do so through getting out of the tour bus, connecting with local people, and really experiencing the riches of a culture. Guatemala is an amazing place just south of Mexico, and there's a lot of Mayan ruins in the region, and it's of course significant in Mesoamerican history. We're really particularly interested in how Guatemala fits into the dialogue of hemispheric relations and human migrations. Guatemala has the widest gender gap in the Western Hemisphere, and so a lot of our focus is on the girl effect. There we are, looking 40-something and accomplished. Right. Right. There's Michael on the left, and there I am on the right. What's interesting about Guatemala is the people. So some of these faces you see here are the individuals you're going to meet when we get on the ground. Next slide shows De La Gente Coffee, I believe. And these people have a lot to teach us about how sustainable commerce and really connecting to the farm to cup economic social justice of agriculture to ultimate distribution. So we have a really wonderful cooperative experiential activity we do with the farmers there. Yeah, so Freddie is down here at the bottom showing us some coffee beans that haven't been roasted yet. We get to experience a day in the life of a farmer. We hike a volcano. We visit the homes of some of our local farmer friends, and participants get a chance to grind and roast their own coffee beans, and then ultimately understand how to impart these lessons back into the classroom with their own students. Starfish impact, this is my personal favorite. These are what are called Girl Pioneers, and Starfish Impact, you can Google them. They have been featured in Nicholas Kristof's literature for a model NGO that is investing in girls' education. So it's really focused on the Mayan highland communities, which is up by Lake Atitlan, just outside of Antigua, a 2-hour bus ride. And the individuals here are extraordinary. They're transcending indigenous barriers, cultural barriers, economic inhibitors that make it difficult for them to become self-sustaining. So we look at a model NGO and how they work together to advance girls' empowerment. We have family visits, and this is a real insider's experience that you just can't get on the tourist circuit.
Mm-hmm.
The digital storytelling piece, I'm going to pause here and let my techie cinematic journalist instructor take over, because he can speak to this with great authority.
Yeah, so I have been working with Alethea and Peace Works Travel actually for, I guess this is our 4th trip this year. We went to Cambodia, we went to Cuba, I went to Vietnam, and this year we just got back from Guatemala on this exact trip. And it's a really amazing experience. I can talk to you more about what it's like to work with my students. You have questions at the end of the webinar. But what's really impactful here is that the students are able to tell stories. And when you have to tell a story, you have to know your facts, you have to know the people really, really well. And so it's a great way to engage with the facts and history and people. And it's not abstract like it would be in a textbook. And so there's a lot of really good reasons why we want to take our kids on these trips and give them these skills. And I think first and foremost for me, given our political climate, is visual literacy and how important that is to be able to navigate through a landscape that's really complicated and filled with all kinds of political landmines and false truths and things like that. And I think by being able to craft your own story, you understand the ins and outs of what it takes to create a false one. And so you're better able to identify them. And then also just basically to empower kids to tell stories and tell the stories of these people who don't really have a voice in the world and people don't really know what's going on. So some of the skills that I think are really important here, you see listed in these bullets: visual literacy for sure, research, you have to do a lot of that in the background before you can create and know what you're talking about. Writing is key and core to all of what we do. So if you're an English teacher, if you're a history teacher, or if you're a science teacher, you know, writing is fundamental to what we do. And so this is a great way that kids can put that to action. And then again, putting this all in historical context, because you have to understand what came before and what's happening after and what's going on right now around us. So these are some of the techniques and some of the trips that students use to do some of their projects. So when we talk about digital storytelling, we also mean photography as well as video. And writing, of course, is part of that. Audio recording and mixing is part of that. And so depending on the student's desire and style and technique and what kind of equipment they have or what kind of equipment you have for this teacher training trip, we can accommodate you and elevate and amplify what you're doing in your classroom. There's a lot of other skills that are being learned here too. So obviously the things that we think about often are photography and editing and sound and conducting interviews, but there's a lot of other really important skills that the kids learn on these trips and doing these projects. So it's not always, we don't always have the opportunity to learn these things in traditional classrooms for a lot of reasons. And so that's great to give them a break and to kind of see that there are other ways of learning. There are other ways of, expressing their knowledge to the teacher and demonstrating that knowledge. And there's different ways that we can assess students other than essays and standardized tests. And so a lot of these skills that we find really important here are actually, I think the World Economic Forum put these as some of the top 10 skills for job success. Teamwork, collaboration, creative problem solving, public speaking, and critical thinking. And if you're in a school that cares about Common Core, you know that these are all part of that. And so this would fit in really nicely with your curriculum and what your schools are expecting from you and your students. So it really ties in nicely and gives you a great opportunity for this. So I think one of the things that most teachers come to these events and these projects not really knowing a lot about it, and so they're kind of scared. You know, like, how do I do this? I don't have the equipment. I don't know how to use it. And then there's a little bit of fear there and like just the unknown. But I think, we work through this process and I'm here to help you and I'll be on the trip with us. And so I can talk to you through all of your questions and actually physically doing it yourself. You'll realize the time that it takes to do it, but also how feasible it actually is and that it is doable. And if you can do it, certainly your students can do it. I know that I see that every day. My kids are a lot smarter than I am, so I'm happy to have them teach me. But this is a great way for you to kind of set up that framework and get that framework to be confident in doing these projects with your students later. And so that's kind of leads me into the next part, bringing that home. So while the trip is great for us as teachers and learning how to do it, the whole point of this is to be able to use these techniques and these skills with your kids in your classroom. So what we're going to do is provide you with curriculum that you'll be able to use with your kids. Obviously, it's digital storytelling for every grade level. So I just want to clarify that this isn't just for the arts. It's not just for English. Excuse me. It's for science and math and history and PE and everything, because everybody tells a story. And the way that we convey information is always through stories. Even this PowerPoint presentation you're watching right now is a form of a story. So we're conveying information in dynamic ways that is engaging to your audience. So some of the skills that you'll be learning hands-on there also include photography and videography, and like I said, editing, nonfiction writing. So we might be familiar with that in our personal realms of our classrooms, but how do you do that in a form of storytelling that's nonfiction, like documentary formats? And then talk about distributing your student work. So once you make it, what do you do with it? Where does it go? What are some of the ins and outs of that? Are there legal and copyright issues? How do you do that safely and fairly and in a way that's going to share your story with a wider audience? So one of the things that I talk about often at conferences with teachers and teacher trainings is, we don't want the learning to end at your classroom walls, right? We want this to be an authentic experience so that the students know that the work they're doing isn't just for your eyes only, like you're in spy school, but that you can actually share it and have an impact on people outside of your class. And you never know who you're going to reach. So actually on one of the trips that I took through Peaceworks, we went to Cuba, and one of my students who was a sophomore, she made a video, a documentary, and she posted it on her personal YouTube channel. And then she got comments from somebody living in Cuba. And he actually kind of like slammed her for getting things wrong or what he thought was incorrect or inaccurate. And it was a really eye-opening experience for her. And they ended up having this online conversation in the comments section. And she really came to understand the needs of her audience a lot better and what she had missed, being a tourist in this foreign country. And there's no better learning than that. There's no more of a rich experience you can have than that. We can give them a grade. We can give them our advice as a teacher. They'll just roll their eyes and go, yeah, whatever. But then somebody in the real world has an interaction with them. Not only is that empowering them because they know that somebody is really looking at it and watching it, but they have authentic feedback on that. And so it's just incredible. It's incredible for her, and it's great for my kids to have that experience. So this is something we want to have for your kids too. And so this is a great reason why you should be coming on the trip. So when we were on the trip, we went through, of course, Antigua, and Alethea is going to talk a little bit more about that, but it's this amazing colonial town in the center of Guatemala, and it's just really a beautiful place. So Alethea, maybe you can talk a little bit more about the city of Antigua and what we're going to be doing there.
Absolutely. So Antigua is lovely. It's would remind European travelers of the city of Sevilla in Spain. Cobblestones, a lot of Spanish architecture, plazas, and so the trip it begins in Guatemala City at the airport, and then everything's included from there: the transportation up to Antigua, the meals, the programming, the guidance. And we are not, as I mentioned, we're not roughing it, although the standards are not 5-star by American qualifications. Equivalent in your mind would be about a 4-star experience. So the next photo slides indicate, here you go. So when the mood is a balance of active exploration and seminars that teach you practical skills, and then quiet time to really absorb and apply the lessons that you're learning. When we make it up to the lake, so the program's in Antigua for a couple of days, and then it goes up to Lake Atitlan, And that's here on the left. That's a view from one portion of the Eco Lodge. The little cottages we stay in are on the right here, you see, with the wisteria on the front. Everyone is roomed in double occupancy unless they choose to upgrade. And we're connecting in that region with the intense natural beauty and of course, the local people and the insiders' experiences we're having there. But the facilities themselves, with the delicious food and the on-site environment, really facilitate a positive experience. This, and again, so think rustic, think, Latin American, Spanish colonial style. And at dusk and dawn, there's mosquitoes, but then they're gone after that. And yeah, and everything's included with the exception of 2 dinners. So people have the freedom when we're in the city to go out and have some free time away from the group should they desire. But up at the Eco Lodge, it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the same gourmet kitchen. And I think we have another slide here of what it looks like. So Casa de Antigua in Antigua, they look like this, right? Bright colors, opens into a courtyard, and breakfast is on site. And then from there, we've got activities scheduled in the morning and the afternoon, and then the evenings are free. We will boat across this lake to get to Santiago, which was just seen earlier. So this is lovely. Right here, you're seeing it at sunset, and in the morning, it's equally beautiful. And that, yeah, I can't say enough good about the natural beauty and the environment of the place. It's just incredible. So nuts and bolts. The cost of this trip is $2,200. It's all inclusive. The applications and deposits are due by April 22nd, 2017. And then the balance will be invoiced. We have scholarships available for this trip. I didn't go into this detail then, and I'll do it now. Essentially, we have 5 spots that are sponsored from a supporter who really believes in what we're doing and has seen the results in his own children, and wants to really train the teachers to make this more available for a wider, more diverse population across the United States. So the application process for the scholarship grantees is on the next slide, I believe. Right, so same thing, submit your applications. You're gonna have to secure your own international airfare even if you are granted a scholarship. Scholarships are awarded on the basis of a demonstrated professional success in applying social justice lessons into your classroom. So that's really kind of the macro element. And of course, values of diversity are also important here as well. And even if you apply and you really want a scholarship and you are not selected, you are certainly welcome to participate as a paid traveler. You'll get right of first refusal above others. That group will be limited to 12 people, which I think is very important for the integrity of the instruction. Michael, can you put up the pathway to walk people through the application process? Do you have them?
Yeah,
you put that on this. Yeah, so we're going to walk you through the Peaceworks website here, which will show you how to apply. And it's sort of a 2-step process in order to avoid robots applying for this unique opportunity. We kind of put it at 2 layers. So what you'll want to do is go to the Peaceworks website, which is www.peaceworkstravel.com. And I'll wait till Michael gets there before I keep talking. I'm the history, experiential learning, logistics, brilliant risk management mind to this endeavor. I will be on this trip this summer, and I'm excited about it. The tech and the video and all of those pieces, I am living proof that anybody can make this happen, because it doesn't come naturally to me. So it's not an accident. Michael's driving on the other end.
All right, so that's the whole application right there.
I can't see it, so I don't know if everyone else can.
Okay. I only see the keynote screen.
Oh, okay, let's try this. Let me stop sharing. Sorry, guys.
Thank you, Dara. You're validating my. Are you a techie person? Can you handle tech?
Somewhat.
How's that? You guys see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Excellent. Okay, so how he got here. Right. So I'm going to walk you through something, Michael, if you wouldn't mind following with your pointer. So from the How It Works tab, you go to How It Works. This is how to apply for this opportunity. So you go to How It Works, click on that, and it'll say for teachers. You click there, and it'll take a second to come up. The button you're looking for is teacher training, there on the right. There you go, you click that. So this will talk about our summer opportunity. It gives the pretty pictures, and it says, win a free teacher training trip to Guatemala. Oh my goodness. So the minute you put your information in there, you'll get an auto reply with an application. And the application link, I also put it in the chat box of this webinar. In fact, I can do it again if anyone needs to see it here. There you go. So the application to apply for a free scholarship is right here. And you'll want to fill that out and indicate your experience taking lessons from outside the classroom, harnessing the human experiences and injustices and struggles of history and the environmental issues, or all the various social justice threads that unify us as human beings, and would help a student think more compassionately about their neighbors and people who don't look like themselves. Anything related to that, put that in your application, send it off to us, and then while you're at it, just make sure you're in our system, register for the trip. We don't need any money. We just need to know that you are dedicated to these principles and that you're interested in training yourself on how to take it to the next level through digital storytelling.
Yeah, and I can vouch for why you'd want to go. I started off taking my kids because I found that they were kind of in a bubble in our community, and I think every community is like that in the United States right now. We're in these silos where we don't really interact with other people of different economic backgrounds, ethnic, racial, or religious backgrounds. And I really noticed a need for me to sort of open the eyes of my students and show them reality. And so we went on these trips, and it was literally life-changing for a lot of kids. And so not everybody can swing it, but for those who can, it's a really great, opportunity and option. And that's what it's really about. If we really want to educate our kids, what really matters is being a good human being, because everything else will work itself out. And I think that, if you're remotely interested in sharing these ideas and this technique, with your kids, then definitely do it. And, again, the skills you're going to learn, the curriculum you're going to get, you can definitely do that on trips again with your students through Peaceworks. It's great to work and connect with those NGOs. My students I think that's actually part of their favorite part was the volunteering and the experiential piece of that. It wasn't just, hey, we're going to go to the beach, or hey, we're going to go to a museum. They enjoyed that too. But what really resonated was working with kids and working with these girls at Starfish. And it sort of surprised me, actually, because I thought, oh, they're just like these high school kids from Southern California. They're going to be, bored with that or not into it. But it really surprised me, like how much it impacted them. And so, I think it's great for so many reasons. The stories are going to turn out however they turn out. And for me, even though I care about the end product and we want that to be good, really they can turn out poorly, but the learning has already happened. Sort of that invisible learning. They don't realize that they're learning while they go through this process, of making the documentary or whatever it turns out to be. So definitely a valuable experience. It's impacted me. It's impacted my students. It's impacted my program at my school. And I actually have a little bit more cachet now because of that. So it never hurts, but it's not why I'm doing it. It's just for the kids and to make sure that they, have a better worldview.
Okay, can I hit the stop recording button now?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you.